Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are cracking the code on one of the biggest, most important parts of modern SEO. It's not just about the words people are typing into a search bar. It's really about the why behind their search. And honestly, getting a handle on this is the real key to creating content that people love and that, you guessed it, ranks higher. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get into the why of a search. Then we'll decode the four main types of search intent. After that, we'll see why this whole idea is way more important than just keywords, look at a real-world example, and then finish up with an action plan you can start using right away. All right, let's kick things off with the most basic question of all. What is someone actually trying to do when they type something into Google? It's never just a random string of words. There's always a goal. I mean, we've all been there, right? It is so frustrating. You've done all your keyword research, you've poured your heart into some amazing content, but for some reason, you're just not cracking that top spot. You look at your competitor and think, what do they know that I don't? Well, the answer is this thing called search intent. It's all about the user's main goal. Are they just trying to learn something? Are they looking for a specific website? Are they trying to compare a few options before they buy? Or are they ready to pull out their credit card right this second? Figuring that out is what search engines are obsessed with. So how in the world do we start to figure this out? Well, the good news is it's not some big mystery. We can actually break down pretty much every single search into one of four main categories. And once you understand these, it's like having a map of your audience's brain. And what's so powerful about this is that these four types pretty much cover the entire customer journey. It all starts with curiosity, right? That's your informational intent. Then you have navigational, which is when someone knows exactly where they want to go, like typing Facebook into Google instead of the address bar. After that, they start digging deeper. That's commercial. And it all leads up to the final decision, which is, of course, transactional. Okay, informational intent is usually the easiest one to spot. Just think about any search that's basically a question. How to bake sourdough bread, or what is the capital of Australia? The user is in total learning mode. Your job here isn't to be a salesperson, it's to be the best, clearest teacher you can be. Now, after the learning phase, people often move into investigation mode. This is commercial intent. At this stage, they're making their shortlist. They're searching for things like best noise-canceling headphones or iPhone versus Android. They're looking for an expert to help them weigh their options. And finally, we get to transactional intent. These keywords are all about action. When you see words like buy, discount, coupon, or free shipping, you know the user has their wallet out. They're not researching anymore. They are looking for that big, shiny buy now button. So this is all really interesting, but why does it matter so much? Why is this a bigger deal than just cramming in the right keywords? Why is this really the core of how you should be thinking about SEO today? Well, here's the absolute biggest shift you need to understand. Google's #1 priority, above all else, is making its users happy. It's not about just matching words anymore. The algorithms are now incredibly smart. They understand context. So if your page has the keyword, but doesn't actually solve the user's problem, guess what? It's not going to rank. Simple as that. This quote just nails it. When you focus on intent, you stop trying to play games with an algorithm and you start focusing on helping a real human being. And that, at the end of the day, is exactly what search engines are built to reward: real, genuine value. Okay, theory is great, but let's make this super practical. How does this actually play out when you're creating your website and your content? Let's walk through a quick example together. So let's imagine you run an online store that sells running shoes. Your goal is to get in front of customers at every single stage of their journey, from the moment they first think about taking up running to when they're finally ready to buy a new pair. Check this out. For each stage, a customer needs something totally different. A search for what are running shoes is purely informational. They need a guide, a blog post. A search for best running shoes for flat feet is commercial. They need an expert comparison, maybe a listicle. If they type Nike Pegasus 41, that's navigational. They want to land right on that specific product page. And, of course, buy running shoes online is transactional. Take them straight to your main category page where they can shop. If you mismatch these, you're pretty much guaranteed to lose that visitor. So, how do you actually do this? First, you've got to match your content format to the intent. A product page isn't the right answer for an informational query. Next, make sure your headlines and your calls to action speak directly to their goal. Then you can create a path for them with smart internal links, guiding them from, say, a guide to a comparison and then to a product. And finally, you have to measure success differently for each type. You care about time on page for a guide, but you care about conversion rate for a product page. All right, let's pull this all together into a super simple, repeatable checklist that you can use for literally any piece of content you work on from here on out. Here's the whole process, and it's really this easy. Before you even think about writing, search for your target keyword and just ask one question. What is Google already showing on page 1? Are they blog posts, videos, product pages? That's your biggest clue right there. Then, just align your own content to match that dominant intent and make sure you give the user a clear path to the next logical step. So, if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. Stop obsessing over just keywords, start obsessing over your user's goal. Because when your content perfectly aligns with their intent, you're not just doing good SEO, you're building trust and you're providing real, tangible value. So just think about it for a second. Every single search query is really just a person asking for help. And by understanding their intent, you can be the one who provides that perfect answer at exactly the right time. If this explainer helped you see things in a new way, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button and give this a like. It really helps us figure out what kind of content is the most helpful for you, and it makes sure you won't miss out on our next one. And hey, for those of you who are looking to learn something totally different, we also wanted to give a shout out to a fantastic resource for programming. For some really great tutorials on Python and other languages, you should definitely check out the content over at www.plus2net.com. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next explainer.